Hello, this is Jorge Herrera, and this is my podcast, Common Sense Discuss. And what are we talking today? We're talking about economic wars. Economic wars. We've been living in economic war since December of 1913, when the Federal Reserve was created. It's an economic war against the population of the United States and possibly the world. People don't make war, governments make war. It is unfortunate that the people that we elect to represent us, they don't do what we ask them to do. They do whatever they please to do. And it used to be a position of service. Back, maybe 200 years? It used to be a position of service. But today, it's a position of self-service. Look at all those people in Congress that do nothing but make money for themselves. Look at all those people in the European Union. In the European Union, that is the most bureaucratic organization that you can find. And they are in a war against their people, the same that the government here via the Federal Reserve is in a war against its people. But on top of that, there is a war between governments with trade, with commerce. And that's why with this administration, we're having a war of tariffs, because for several decades, other countries had been sending goods to the United States, charging very hefty tariffs. And our president now is looking to even up that field. The problem is tariffs are an extra tax to the population. So hopefully it does work for him, that since the United States is the biggest consumer organization in the world, maybe that gives some weight to the decisions of these consumers, these buyers. And hopefully the tariffs that Donald Trump is implementing work to get other countries to lower their tariffs so we can lower ours. Because the idea is to have an even, fair playing field. And that's why we have those economic tariffs starting today on what Donald Trump calls our Liberation Day. But then again, hopefully it works, because tariffs are an extra tax. And as I mentioned before, we've been in economic war with the banks and the Federal Reserve since 1913, because they control the cost of our money. And the cost of our money actually controls our cost of living. And the higher the interest that we pay, or the higher taxes, that affects our cost of living. Now, when the Federal Reserve controls the interest down, that really doesn't help us. That's why we are in 36 trillions of dollars in debt. And that causes a lot of problems to the population, because that manipulation of the Federal Reserve creates inflation when they create money out of thin air, and then they give that money to the government in exchange of an IOU, and then the government deposits that money that the Federal Reserve gave it in exchange of the IOU to be able to grow their programs and create more giveaways to people, or more growing of the arms organization. So either way, by creating programs of welfare or warfare, that's a war against the productive people. So I just hope that this move that Donald Trump is making, it works, because if it's going to stay long, then it's going to cost us dearly to the population. What else? We have the political war, where the Democrats filled up this country with illegal immigrants, and a lot of our resources have been given to them. Now, what Doge is doing, and this administration is doing, in capturing all those immigrants that they find and deport them, well, it's supposed to help us, because less resources that are spent in helping those people will be able to be used to help the legal residents and citizens of this country. So there is a lot of war. And you saw what happened with Doge when Elon found a lot of abuse and crazy spending. He became the target from all those that were benefiting from all that waste and manipulation of the tax, the tax money, and spent in crazy things that don't help the residents and the citizens of this country. So that's the economic war, and I just hope it doesn't take too long with the tariffs, and if we can audit the Federal Reserve and actually eliminate it, that would be a big win for the population, because the Federal Reserve has been just a drag on the country and actually the world. So we need to get rid of the Federal Reserve, and maybe by allowing laissez-faire or uh, free markets, we might be able to have a better economic life and less war against the population. I mean, we have precious metals, we have uh, cryptocurrencies, and those are not as bad on taking a tax on people like the Federal Reserve and the banksters. That's what I wanted to share with you, and hopefully you find um, you find this comment productive. And if you want to leave a comment, please do it under the video that you're watching. And also support my channels. Support my channel in Rumble at IBQser, and support my channel for my podcast in YouTube at the Jorge E. Herrera channel. Thank you, and I'll see you next time with another podcast where I'll let you know about some of the current affairs and my opinion on what's going on. Talk to you next time. Come on.